And the soundtrack is so moving. Hey, yo, what the fuck?
You want to go home? Let's go home. It's okay. I know the way.
Whoa, hey, that water's red, man. Hello? There's a lot of dead whales on this beach. Amelie? Amelie?
London Bridge is falling down. Falling down. Falling down. London Bridge is falling down. My fair lady.
The last stranding has already begun.
Bridget?
Amelie?
You're too late. What took you so long?
Your voice.
You still don't know who I am, do you?
Who are you?
Sam. I knew you'd come back.
Jesus Christ.
I love you, Sam.
I'll be waiting for you on the beach. been waiting for you. Right here, ever since. You were supposed to stop me. Stop all of this.
Bridget?
Yes. It's me, Sam.
Where's Amelie?
Where she's always been. Nowhere. My daughter, Samantha America Strand, doesn't exist.
Amelie doesn't exist?
Not in your world. I'm sorry, Sam. I've had to wear a mask for so long. Amelie and Bridget are both a part of me.
What's that supposed to mean?
Quiet, and I'll tell you. There is no time for questions. Listen. Just listen. Do you understand, Sam? Amelie and Bridget, those are just names. What I am is an extinction entity. So, knowing what you know now, you have two choices.
Hey, easy, easy.
Just getting shot, one of them.
You wouldn't come back if it happened here, you know. You'd be straight on to the afterlife. But no. It's not one of them. Killing you would be a terrible mistake. I know that better than anyone. The last stranding has already begun. A seam has formed from my beach and the beaches of every soul in America. And soon it will be inundated by a vast surge of antimatter starting here. In a flash, this world will be no more. Consumed by an explosion. A big bang. So, that brings us to your first choice. Do nothing. Stay here with me and bear witness to the very end.
Just watch it burn.
Together. With me. Until the last flame winks out. Doesn't sound so bad, does it?
Sounds terrifying.
It's not like the world has long left anyway. Then there's the second choice. In expanding the network, you brought people and their beaches together, integrating them into a greater whole. Like this Kipu. But in doing so, you also bound them to my beach. The very beach where I opened the gates to the other side. You can't stop what's coming. But if you cut me and my beach loose, perhaps you can stop it from spreading. You might just prevent the last stranding. And mankind will live to die another day.
And it doesn't have to end here.
But it does. The beach is doomed no matter what. One look ought to tell you that. Which is why we must sever our connection.
That'll be it. The end of the Death Stranding.
You can't stop the inevitable. The sixth extinction will happen either today or tomorrow. You can either end it with dignity, quick, clean, and in a flash. Or you can struggle in vain, knowing full well what's waiting come the finish. Those are your choices. You kept it all this time. Perhaps you still have a chance to stop this nightmare. You brought the world together. You have the right to decide. Pull the rope or cut the noose. But whatever you do, don't hesitate. I'm ready, Sam Strand. Make your choice.
But wait. I don't know what to do.
Sure you do. After everything, how could you not?
Oh, Hideo. So, very clearly the game wants you to think in order to get rid of all this, you have to kill her. However, you go to shoot her and nothing happens. You scramble trying to look for an answer. You read this, you know, the last time I was doing this, I was trying to read what's going on here. A .357 Magnum revolver that has some connection to Die Hardman. It's loaded with hermetic rounds coated in Sam's blood. Seems to have no effect on Bridget at the beach. Nothing, right? And so you're like, fuck, what do I do? And just for the sake of one of the two endings, I'm just gonna sit here and watch her walk out. And that's the end of everything. But, of course, the game being a video game, it gives you a chance to try again.
I'm ready, Sam Strand. Make your choice.
But wait. I don't know what to do.
Sure you do. After everything, how could you not?
So what I think what this metaphor is supposed to be, this is the stick, right? Doesn't work on her. There was the whole thing about the stick and the rope, the stick to keep it, the bad back, and the rope to pull towards.
I'm here for you.
We gotta be the rope.
Like you were for me.
Here. It's a dream catcher. Wear it when you sleep, and I'll keep the nightmares away. I'll always be with you. When you're all grown up, you'll need it to make us whole again. And when the time comes, you'll have to stop me. You are the only one who can. Promise you'll remember. Sam, I'll be waiting for you on the beach.
I remember. You knew. You always knew.
I did and I didn't. I had so many dreams of the future. I didn't know which ones to trust. Which is why I decided to share them with you and the others. But to connect the dots, to make sense of everything, you need perspective. You need time. Time has no meaning to me. I am not a line. I am a single point. Which is why all I could do was just show you the choices and let you decide.
Our nightmares are your dreams.
You found the common thread, the strand that links them together. And you did that the only way possible. To live life one day at a time. Thank you, Sam. A gun won't help you here. But it still has a role to play. It was the bonds between people that brought the world together. And if that is what matters most to you, then I will stay here on this beach. And I will shut myself in and the rest of you out.
Shut yourself in, come on.
Once the last stranding starts, it can't be stopped. I can't go with you. All I can do is try to spare you the worst.
Why do you have to stay on the beach?
Sam, I am the beach. And I must stay here and ensure that the extinction happens. Even if it takes tens or hundreds of thousands of years.
Alone?
That's what an EE does. If I had just done my job, none of this would have happened. But I couldn't take it anymore. I got so tired of waiting, and I figured that no one would blame me if I just got it all over with. So, that's what I did.
Sounds like hell.
But you and the others came together, connected. And you may be living on borrowed time, but you still have hope. Before each of the Big Five, life rebelled. They fought back, evolved in order to survive. The extinction isn't just an ending. It's an opportunity. And if I have to pay the price for that, to be the sacrifice, then so be it. Even if we aren't together, we will always be connected. Goodbye, Sam.
God damn. What a beautiful fucking shot. Oh, and soundtrack. Jesus.
A gun won't help you here. But it still has a role to play.
God damn. Oh. There it is. There it is. God damn. Wow. I mean, I've still got so many questions. I guess I could probably talk about some of them here. Well, maybe not quite yet. There's... I mean, the credits are rolling, yes. But there's... I mean, damn near an hour left of this fucking game, if not close to 2 hours. Guess I gotta find a way off this beach. Special appearance, Guillermo del Toro. What an incredible shot that was with like the light in the background. I mean, obviously, and then none of it's real, but but it looked so good. The music was amazing. Performances were great. There's still so much like I'm thinking in the moment that I'm like trying to piece together as a whole. And I'm wondering if like a lot of it's just being dramatic, and I'll get more into it as, you know, as all this progresses. But good God, man, it's just so sad.
Quiet, and I'll tell you. There is no time for questions. When you were young, you used to have bad dreams. You cried about them all the time. The truth is, those weren't your dreams. They were mine. For as long as I can remember, I've dreamt of the beach. Not just while sleeping, in my waking hours too. In my dreams, I watched the world end so many times. Countless past extinctions that decimated life on this planet. Again, and again, and again. At first, I didn't understand what I was seeing or why. And that wasn't the worst of it. There were other, more terrible dreams. Dreams of death and destruction. Of a massive extinction to come. Like this one. And I would always be the one to end it all. To bring about the last stranding. As I have today.
To be the ender of all and just forced to be alone, and then having a connection with somebody that has that job, and then knowing that they have to be alone. Hideo Kojima, you sick fuck. How could you do this to me? I mean, like that's the thing that really kills me, is that, you know, when he looks up at her and he said, you know, alone, acknowledging that she's just gonna be by herself while the world just continuously is destroyed on her end until it eventually eventually it's still gonna happen, or is it she dies there alone? No, she still exists. she has to ensure that it happens. So she's just literally in hell until the rest of the world follows and everything is destroyed. But she's cut herself off from the rest of the beaches so that it doesn't spread. I don't really know how it works. But the loneliness, the loneliness thing really fucking got to me.
The first operation, I was only 20. I opened my eyes and found myself on the beach. But the moment I came round, I was back in the hospital bed. I was split across two worlds. Bridget, my Ha in that one. Amelie, my Ka in this. Somehow, the two of us managed to coexist. Soon, our ages began to diverge. Only Bridget's body got older, while the beach kept Amelie's the same. So I came up with a story. I told people that Amelie was my daughter. A daughter with a debilitating condition and an absent father. Look. Amelie. Is French for soul. A soul that's a lie. There was no Amelie. Only me and the beach.
I gotta be honest.
I thought it was a curse in the beginning.
That part's a little cheesy.
But later, I started thinking, maybe I can use this. I tried to find out more about the beach. Because understanding the beach had to be the key to interpreting my visions of the future.
The whole Amelie thing, at least the explanation of it is, like, her explaining that's what her, like, you know, it just kind of adds a sense of, like, I came up with this. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty dramatic. Like, I think it's hard to, like, I don't know, incorporate that into like word of mouth. But if I had read that somewhere or heard it from somebody else that the name Amelie actually comes from, you know, this, like if I'd heard it outside of the game, I would have been like, what the fuck? That's crazy. We're like, that's pretty cool. And this one, it just kind of seems like tooting of the own horn. Just like, yeah, I came up with the name Amelie because my soul is a lie. It's just like, okay, Princess Beach. Oh man, I'm still holding back on some of my thoughts because I can't, like, until literally the credits are over. It might even be longer than that. I think when the credits are over, I might be able to talk mostly about my questions. I just don't want to accidentally say something and have it be told in the next 20 minutes or something. So I'll just keep looking for a way off this beach. Also a freaking bummer that I didn't get those other 3 stations connected to the Chiral network at all. I mean, if I knew that they existed, I swear I looked up a map online and it did not show those stations on there.
I realized the beach was connected to the world of the dead, which meant that somewhere out beyond it were the memories of time itself, including those of every organism that had ever lived. 4.6 billion years of biological history, a history that might even stretch back to the creation of the universe. The chiral network and everything that followed was born from my pursuit of that knowledge. By passing data through the beach, we were unbound by the restrictions of time. Simulations that would have taken years or more were simple and effortless. Everything that the Earth had lost and forgotten could be reconstructed and reclaimed. But shortly after we began our research, America saw its first void out. I thought I was running out of time, that my nightmares were becoming a reality. So I raced to complete the chiral network as quickly as possible. The past held all the answers. If only I could find a way to piece them together. A network that bridged our world and the beach. That might do it, I believed. So I started researching bridge babies, children bound to the world of the dead. What causes an extinction entity to come into being? What was the reason for the previous 5 mass extinctions? The answers to those questions would tell me how to stop the 6th. I founded bridges, more determined than ever to build a chiral network that would cover all of America. But the longer I fought my war against the inevitable, the weaker I became. My Ha had cancer. The beach's punishment, maybe, for not playing along like a good little EE. And then, just like that, my Ha was gone. I couldn't finish what I'd started. So, I asked you to do it for me. And you did. You helped us complete the network. Helped us to reclaim everything the universe experienced from its inception to this moment. Every mystery was ours to solve, like this one. Once, there was an explosion. A big bang that gave birth to time and space. Thing is, it was more like a big fluke. All that matter and antimatter should have canceled itself out, leaving nothing. But somehow a tiny speck of matter survived. Just enough. Enough to make this world and everything in it. A world that shouldn't be, a world out of balance. Order inevitably gives way to chaos. Everything that lives must inevitably die. It's like the universe is trying to return us to the nothing we came from. Maybe the Big Five were its best attempts to finish us off. But somehow, life always managed to survive just enough. Enough to thumb its nose at the will of the cosmos. You know, I'm starting to think that extinction might be the key to overcoming total annihilation. It forces life to fight to survive, to endure, to exist. That's why the Big Five ultimately rekindled life instead of extinguishing it. From the ashes of the dead rise the living. Stronger and wiser. Inheritors of the legacy of existence itself. They defy the universe and refuse to surrender. They say, we're just getting started. Extinction is an opportunity.
So she claims that setting up the chiral network was meant to help find a way to prevent the stranding. At what point, I mean, how long did she know that she was an extinction entity? You know? Are you just born with that knowledge? At what point do you, I mean, she said she had dreams and she didn't know what to make of them and which ones to trust. At what point did she know this is what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to bring about the end of the world. creating the chiral network was going to save it. Somehow, and which, I mean, would explain why she was so insistent on and didn't care about killing a few babies along the way, making a few sacrifices to create that chiral network. And also pretty fucking crazy that that's the only way they could achieve. Well, it does have to be connected to the dead, basically. It uses the beach as basically an internet, you know, something that uses the internet.
The trigger twice that day. I knew at once I'd made a mistake. I found your beach and looked everywhere for you. Sam. There you are. You want to go home? Let's go home. I wanted to set you free from death once and for all. It's okay. I know the way. But in doing so, I upset the fundamental balance between life and death. I just wanted to save you. I am an extinction entity. It's my fate to lead our species to extinction. But that moment, you became part of that fate. You became a repatriate, and dooms started spreading my nightmares to others throughout the world. It was me that got you and everyone with dooms into this. Not long after, the Death Stranding occurred. The dead clung to our world, and BTs used my beach to cross over and devour them, triggering more void outs. A catalyst that would set the world on a path to extinction. It was my duty to serve as a sacrifice, to wait and watch it unfold from this beach. That, or hasten the last stranding and end this slow death. Given these, my only options, I chose to end it quickly. But to trigger the last stranding, I needed you, a part of me. Here too. I would be able to witness extinction consummated with you by my side. But now that you're here, there's another choice. You can cut me off. An EE doesn't have that option for itself. But in my nightmares, I saw another future, one that you chose. One where extinction is hope against total annihilation.
So I think what this is supposed to be is this is all the information that she told him when she said there's no time for questions. It doesn't entirely line up because she mentioned the first thing she said in this line of dialogue is that she said that my dream or your nightmares are my dreams, the dreams are mine or whatever. The dreams that you've been having or seeing, they're mine. And he seemed surprised at that end cutscene where they were there and everything was blowing up and it was a really cool sunset, he still acted surprised like it was the first time he'd heard it before. However, I think that's essentially what this is supposed to be, and each time he sits down and he sees these things happening, I don't know if it's supposed to be her continuously talking to him after, because he's cut ties with her now. Like, he's severed that connection. So, I don't think they have the ability to communicate, otherwise he would be talking back to her. I think this is him reflecting on all the stuff that she told him when it faded to black. That being said, trying to think back on all this stuff that's been going on, I'm pretty sure the questions I have are good now. I really hope so. If it ends up explaining later or saying something, I apologize. I mean, I'll be able to cut it out, but... So my question was that... why was she acting as a captor, and why did she use Higgs to help bring about terror and destruction? I noticed in the scene where Higgs tried to use his powers one last time, when Sam was carrying her, that I noticed that it seemed like in that moment she took his powers away. So, like, in the logs they explain that he had dooms to some extent and he felt pretty good about them, but as he continued to use them and as time went on, they kind of like started to fade a little bit, like he was losing the ability to use them. And then he met Fragile, and Fragile and him teamed up because her doom's powers were way better than his. But then finally he meets Amelie, and suddenly he just fucking goes crazy. She gets him to become a terrorist, and he is gifted with all these extra doom's powers. I guess to what end, I'm not entirely sure. She convinced him to bring about an early end to humanity. And maybe it's somewhere in the logs where he explained his motives, but it doesn't. It just kind of seems like he damn near flipped on a dime, or maybe it has something to do, like something to play with the chiral contamination a little bit. But yeah, he seemed like a pretty alright guy, clear up until he met Amelie. And it doesn't make sense to me why she's acting like... There was a scene where Sam shows up at her beach with Higgs. Higgs is already there, or Higgs apparently abducted her and was like on her beach. But he was kneeling to her, quite obviously using, like, kind of low-key worshiping her. So if he's worshiping her, and then he looks over, and he's like, oh shit, Sam's here. Time to put on a, you know, time to play the part, and then he, like, starts torturing her and, like, holds her captive. Like, what? Why was she doing that? Why would she do that to Sam? And I get that some of it was to make sure that he went across America for her, but she wasn't actually there. Yeah, okay. So I also understand that he had to go across America and connect the chiral network in order for her plan to come about. She claims in this that it would have helped prevent the last stranding. However, doing it did the exact opposite. It basically brought it to fruition. Bringing everybody into the chiral network allowed everybody's fucking beach to be basically laid on top of each other and merge into one giant seam, which she would have been able to enact the last stranding and destroy the world, because it's basically like a portal from the afterlife. Her beach acts as like a portal from the afterlife into the real world, in a sense. And so with that, where all the BTs are flooding in, it's basically the same way that antimatter would have met the matter of the world and destroyed the shit out of it. There's still so much more, but I can't believe I talked through that entire credit sequence. I feel like I barely got anything out. Well, I guess this isn't the only credit sequence, I don't think. Shout out to Low Roar, by the way. That song's a fucking banger.
A gun won't help you here. But it still has a role to play.
Reconnect with the living. Oh, that would be so fucking frustrating.
Listen, Sam. I was the one that brought you and Cliff together again. There was something I wanted you to know. You were never abandoned.
That was another thing,
And
too.
you're not alone. Don't you see, Sam? You have to live.
There's them. The big five, right? So here is a little interesting because is this the big five, the five extinctions, or does it symbolize something else? Pretty sure there's 5 people, like Dr. Hartman, Dead Man, Lochna, Fragile, and Die Hardman, right? Guys?
I see him. This way. Oh my God. He's over there. Over here, Sam. Dead man. We're coming, Sam. You ready, Margaret?
Ready. Sam. Sam. I see you. Sam.
Lou, take me to Sam.
Also, Amelie / Bridget, who are one and the same if you haven't gathered that yet.
Don't give up. You're still connected.
Yeah, if we're connected, okay, and then she points up at the big 5. Are those big 5 supposed to be the extinction entities, or are they... Like, the middle one has his arms up, and the ones on the outside have their arms down. Is the one in the middle supposed to be Mama holding a baby? I don't know. I'm reaching at this point.
Gotcha.
BB! You made it, Lou. I take it there's probably no other players to connect with here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and repatriate.